You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another episode of Bootlegs, the series where my friend, who we call Bootman Bill, allows me to showcase some of his bootlegs collection. As you can see, today we have Deadman Wonderland. This is the Malaysian bootleg, however I also have two official releases I'll be comparing it to, both the Japanese and US Blu-ray releases. This bootleg was one of the first Malaysian ones I ever saw, so it actually was the first one he ever owned, actually. It also has very unique art. A lot of the designs on this box are not on any other release. However, this is more similar in design to the Japanese release than it is to the US release. As you can see, they included several extra disc spaces that they simply didn't need to, but that's a very common trend with Malaysian bootlegs. There's the disc a little bit more up close. And there's what it looks like behind the disc. Here we have the Japanese release. Now, the reason I own this is only Volume 1, by the way, but the reason I bought the Japanese release is because the American and Malaysian releases that are both going to be shown in this video are, in fact, censored. However, this Japanese release is also censored, so unfortunately, there has not been an official release of the uncensored version of Deadman Wonderland. I do, however, know that an uncensored version exists because I have seen the uncensored intro on YouTube, so I know that at least somewhat uncensored version exists. Because if you don't know, this series was butchered with censorship. All the gore is blurred out with, like, black lines and stuff, and, there is some nudity that's censored in the intro. Interestingly, in the intro, not only did they censor female nipples, but they also censor male nipples, which I found really odd. But yeah, as you can see, this white case design is more similar to the Malaysian one than the one I will show in a minute. There's a little build-your-own archway of Deadman Wonderland itself included with it, as well as like a picture postcard thing with Ganta and his classmates before the series took place. This is used in the outro to the series as well. There's the instructions on how to build the archway. There's a picture of that one crazy little girl that's an undertaker in Deadman Wonderland. It also comes with this nifty little booklet that has like storyboards from the episodes. I would say they look like the manga, but they're not. The manga is a little bit different. I have read it in its entirety. Okay, Disc 1 contains episodes 1 and 2. Disc 2 here actually contains the soundtrack. And I actually pointed to them in the wrong order. This one's the soundtrack, this one's the show. But like I said, this Japanese version only has the first 2 episodes. I got it for fairly cheap, which is why I took the risk, not knowing whether or not it would be the censored or uncensored version. Next up, we have the US Blu-ray. I will mention this is a later re-release of it. It's the same content as the older edition. In fact, the case is also very similar. It just has anime classics on it, which it didn't used to. But another big difference is the earlier run of this used to have a sticker on it that said 100% uncensored. I went out and bought it, and that was not true, so I returned it. However, I got this one at Walmart for like 20 bucks, maybe 30, I can't remember which, I think it was only 20. And because of that, I decided I would have it just so that I can have this one. But as you can see, the disc art is also very plain on this. The other versions tend to have cooler designs. I also have not watched the official Blu-rays in their entirety yet. I am planning on rewatching the series soon. But I have skimmed through it, and it is indeed censored, because all the gore is still blurred out, the nudity is missing from the intro, etc. I also made sure to check both the Blu-rays and the DVDs for any chance of seeing the uncensored version. As far as the censorship on this series, one could argue that it might be a stylistic choice, and I would agree to some extent that might be it. Because interestingly enough, the Japanese audio track on the Malaysian version here is censored, but the English one is uncensored. I don't know on this, because like I said, I haven't watched this one yet. At least not all the way through, I've just fast-forwarded through it to see if it was censored or uncensored. But if I recall, when I bought the older one, it was censored. On the audio track as well, I know for a fact the gore is censored. This is the thing I don't get. Everyone talks about how gory this series is, but it would be so much gorier if it didn't have all those black lines. Now, again, with a stylistic thing, it very well could be, because the manga had some slight censorship that was very clearly stylistic, like pixelated intestines, but they were still kind of visible through the pixelation. But on top of that, it also had moments where they would just have like a bunch of X's in the speech bubbles indicating that they were swearing. So that is a good case to build on the fact that it is probably at least partially a stylistic choice. Here's what the menu looks like on the Malaysian release. As you can see, it's a very simplistic menu with only 3 options: play all, episodes, and setup. Here's the episodes page, and the setup page. As you can see, they have English, Chinese, and Malay subtitles, so... Alright, now here we have the Japanese one, which surprisingly works on my Xbox, so that tells me one of 2 things. Either A, this Blu-ray was not region locked, or B, Xbox did an update that no longer has things be region locked. I think it's probably the former, just because I don't think that Xbox would do that. I know that the games aren't region locks, but as far as I know, the Blu-rays should be on Xbox. So that leads me to believe the disc itself probably isn't. But yeah, here's all the logos and stuff. Which is interesting to see, since this is a Japanese one, and we're in the US, so... Or at least I am. I don't know where you're from if you're watching this. But yeah, there's all the logos still loading in. This one has a lot more logos to go through than the Malaysian one, obviously, because the Malaysian one was a bootleg, so... Okay, and it typically just automatically plays the episodes, as you can see. So it just starts the episodes immediately on here. You actually have to go to the menu in order to see it. The menu here. And I gotta say, this has an interesting menu. It's a little bit different. Yeah, this is more like the Malaysian one, actually. The American one doesn't have any pictures of the characters. It's just kind of like a static-y screen. You'll see it when I get to it. Information. Let's see what that has. So information loads up a featurette, it appears. Let's see. Yeah, a featurette that's about 1 minute and 22 seconds long. So this is, I think, telling you that Volume 2 of the Blu-ray is coming out. I don't speak or read Japanese, so you'll have to forgive me if that's incorrect. Then, of course, there's all the episodes here, well, episodes 1 and 2 specifically, but these are the scenes, I think. And I think this is Play All, which, I don't know what this is, actually. This is another featurette. No, this is the intro. Wait, is this just the intro? This is just the intro. And you'll see what I mean by censorship. Unless, of course, it's uncensored, in which case I'll cut it out. Yeah. So right here, there was nudity in that scene in the uncensored intro. Instead of her turning black like that, it should be uncensored. Granted, like I said, not a big deal. There's porn on the internet if I wanted that sort of thing. But it just leads me to believe that there may be other content that exists somewhere in an uncensored format in addition to that. Alright, now here we have the US DVD. I'll look at the Blu-ray in a second. Of course, there's all the warnings and stuff, because this is the official release. And as you can see, it has the Kadokawa, or whatever you call it. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Kadokawa, I think, is correct. But, it will go through all the logos as well. I'll probably skip the trailers here, because there's a lot of anime trailers. Alright, so here's the title menu. As you can see, this one has music, and it has Ganta here on the corner. It has Play All, Setup, Extras, and Episodes. Extras, here they have... Just has episode 6 commentary. This song is one that you hear a lot in the series. Like, I really like this song, but it is repeated a lot. Good series, though, and good song. But anyway, episodes. Has the first 7 episodes here on this disc. Now here we have the setup. As you can see, it has English, Japanese, and subtitles either on or off. Here's the menu for disc 2 of the DVD. We'll go to setup again, see if that's any different. Okay, setup looks like it's identical to disc 1. Let's check the extras, I guess. Because the extras will be different, at least on what they contain. So episode 12, commentary and trailers, but otherwise the same, with the same music and same picture. Alright, let's check the episodes. Obviously, it should probably look the same, I would imagine. No, it looks a little bit different. It has a different picture, if I'm not mistaken there. Bring up the American Blu-ray. Disc 1, specifically. There are 2 of those as well. So as you can see here, it just has like a static screen menu that says Deadman Wonderland. It has Play All, Setup, and Extras and Episodes. Episodes, it's just a pop-up menu here with all the episodes. I actually think that the other one was a little bit cooler because it had more pictures and stuff. Here's the setup. Again, the same kind of thing. Extras, I assume, will be no different. Yep, same stuff with the same extras as the DVD. Alright, so as you can see, Disc 2, it's pretty much the same exact thing. Episodes list. Boom, right there. Setup, same shit, different disc. Let's see if they have any additional extras. They actually do have quite a bit of additional extras. Promotional videos, original commercials, textless opening, director's version! I think we found the culprit! We have found the source of the uncensored intro. So that tells me right there that there may not be an uncensored version of the actual gore, which makes me a little sad, but hey, I think I may have just found the intro. I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty sure that's what that means, but yeah. Okay, I have indeed. The director's version is the uncensored intro, so that's the source of that. So maybe the episodes have never been released uncensored. So that tells me right then and there that unfortunately it may be a stylistic choice and the gore does not exist otherwise. But yeah, an added bonus, here's the soundtrack. It doesn't really do much visually since it's just the music tracks, but as you can see, it contains a total of 6 tracks. This is track 1. Alright, let's go to track 2. So here's track 2. Alright, I'll go to track 3 now. So here's track 3. Track 4. Track 5, which is probably the most iconic one on here. And then track 6. Yeah, but there's a sample of each of those. We'll cut now to the descriptions on the back of the cases. And now onto the description on the backs of the cases. Obviously I can't read Japanese, so I won't be reading that one, because I don't want to fuck around with Google Translate for too long. Let's start with the Malaysian version. Poor Ganta never knew what happened. When he looked out of the window to his classroom, he didn't expect to see a red man floating there. The next moment, he was stood in the middle of a bloodbath. Tried and charged with the murder of all his classmates, Ganta was given the death sentence, but his prison isn't any regular jail. The Deadman Wonderland is more an amusement park, where prisoners compete for their lives. He has a tough time standing up for himself, but still manages to make friends. But in a place that kills people as entertainment, nothing is as it seems. Just who can Ganta really trust? Will justice ever be served? That is the description on the Malaysian case. Let's take a look at the American one now. From the studio that brought you Samurai Champloo and Ergo Proxy, Ganta is the only survivor after a mysterious man in red slaughters a classroom full of teenagers. He's framed for the carnage, sentenced to death, and locked away in the most twisted prison ever built, Deadman Wonderland. And then it gets worse. At Deadman Wonderland, convicts are forced to brutal death matches for the amusement of the masses. The cheers of the crowd drowning out the screams of the dismembered. Even when Ganta befriends Shiro, an unusual female inmate, his dark fate crushes all hope, until he discovers the strange ability to wield his spilled blood as a weapon. Ganta learns his new skill might be related to the murderous man in red, and uncovers disturbing secrets that could expose those who stole his freedom. He's determined to see justice served. But first he'll have to fight for his life in a prison that holds a million ways to die. And then there's a bunch of little supplemental things on the side. Death is the main attraction in Deadman Wonderland. 100% gory, explicitly violent, over-the-top, and viscerally cruel. 100% blood and gore, satisfaction guaranteed. Again, I don't agree with that. The gore is incredibly censored in this series, but again, that, like I said, upon discovering that uncensored intro, maybe there are no uncensored versions of the episodes. Maybe the censorship is a stylistic choice as it was in the manga. It's just the manga was less censored, so I thought maybe there was at the very least a less censored version of the show. And there very well still might be. I don't know if that's true. If there is, do let me know in the comments below if you know anything about it or have any information. Until then, I am satisfied to at least have found the source of the original uncensored intro, because I was curious as to how it got uploaded to YouTube. Obviously, I'm not going to show it in this video because I do not want a community guideline strike, but it is up there. I'm not going to link it either, but you can find it if you look it up. But anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye, and you have a great day.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red Eye.